push it onto those studs. There's your harness. Here is the code for a B17 ECU. Instead of fixing the car, I've decided that I'm just gonna do a bunch of fun little things to keep me motivated. Slot there, and all right, another day, another minute of putting random shit I find on the Integra. I got two of these from my good friend Devin at annoying.jp. Make sure you check him out. We've done a lot of stuff together. He has a lot of cool stuff on his page. Always doing cool stuff with rotary cars. Definitely worth a follow and a watch. But he sent me these cool Japanese bulbs, and I want to show you what they do. So the taillights in this car are an 1157, which is cross-compatible with a lot of other bulb sizes. It's basically just any bulb that has the little dimples on the side for locking, and then a two-prong connector on the bottom. I want to show you these cool new ones. So excuse the mess. This is the entire interior in the trunk, but here's the bulb. You can see it looks very different from the standard one. I'm going to show you what it does. Pretty cool. Turn the lights on real quick. It actually rotates, so it does a really cool effect. You're not going to be able to see it in the taillight right now because it's so bright outside, but it looks pretty cool. And then I think it flickers when I brake. I'm going to set you guys up so you can see it, and I'll go press the brake pedal. So yeah, just a cool little tidbit for the car. Nothing too crazy. Just little bits and pieces while I wait for my computer to come back in the mail, which should be early next week. And then, man, if the car starts, it's gonna be crazy. We're gonna start tearing out the carpet, re-dyeing the carpet, starting to put the interior back together, wiring in the radio, wiring in the headlights, getting the kit on the car. And then I kind of expect it to be really fast progress from there, because it's going to be basically just throwing all the parts I've been saving at it over the course of however much time I have. So hope you're enjoying this series so far. If not, I don't know. Alright, just measuring these to see how far I need to cut them. So like right there. Honestly, it's not going to be much. All right, I retreated indoors because it's raining and horrible, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do here. So basically, this is the amount, give or take, that I need to take off. I marked it with a marker because I think the tape's gonna tear when I start to cut. But basically that needs to get taken off, and then this whole lip all the way down needs to get cut off because these are for an EK, which mount different. Obviously, I think I'll still be able to use these and fabricate some kind of like, I don't know, threaded hole or something to put these in. And I'm hoping it's strong enough. I might have to do like a tie up to here somehow, just so it gets sturdy and this doesn't warp. But this whole piece is gonna get cut off. This face is gonna get cut and then remounted here. I'm gonna use panel bond for that. And yeah, hopefully they come out decent. All right, I'm already covered in molten plastic, but here's what I did. Here's obviously the side skirt that I cut. So I cut the end off here, and then also cut the face off the piece I cut off. So this was like here, basically chunked the middle. And while this is like a terrible way of doing this, I'm not an entire barbarian. So this is going to get attached there just to make it look basically like it wasn't shortened. It's not gonna match perfectly here. You can see this lip it bumps up here. So that honestly might be a good thing because it gives me two places to run panel bond, top and bottom. And then once the panel bond sets, it's gonna get a little bit of Bondo just to clean up the crease. Then the whole thing will get painted. So hope that makes sense. I'll show you the final product. I can't really show you while I'm cutting because I'm using both my hands, but yeah, that's how that went. All right, gamers, here's where we're at. Taped it up. I'm gonna run panel bond along the inside crease there. Hopefully it holds. The other one I fucked up a little, so I just have to work it more, but this one's honestly really close, so just gonna run the panel bond and show you in a minute. All right, here's what I meant when I said I had to take the lip off. So this is the back side of it. You can see whole side skirt. You can see the ends, the panel bond set on the inside. But the top is what I need to get rid of because of the shape of the side of the DB2. So just dremel off the whole top lip. I had to clip each of these little points where the OEM mounting position is, and then we'll figure something new out. But be careful when you're dremeling. The plastic gets really hot, leaves a bunch of burrs, so I'm gonna have to deburr this with something. Probably just get a razor and run it down the edge here. But a lot of that will also get knocked down once I sand them for paint. So probably gonna have to take off, honestly, more, if not all of these too. I'm gonna try to leave some because they do provide a little bit of structural support so that the side skirts can't flex this way. But the shape of the car down there is very like this, so I think I'm gonna have to at least get rid of a corner on each of these, but we'll see. All right, don't judge my Bondo work, but threw some Bondo on the corner just to even out the crease. The lip's off. This one's pretty much done. Once the Bondo sets, it'll be ready for paint. Now I have to do it all over again. Yay me. All right, got the other side skirt prepped the same way. And now I also grabbed my front lip and I'm just doing, I cleaned it, degreased it with Dawn Blue, and scuffed it with a green Scotch-Brite pad just so that the base coat will stick. Rinsed it off, let it dry, did one base coat. About to do my second base coat. I'll try to show you. So it's basically just like anything else. I try to do 2 light base coats a little bit further away just to get even coverage, and then 2 to 3 top coats, which would be heavier lay, run it slower, get closer. Now this stuff is a little bit different because it is inherently textured. I have a can over here. Hold on. It's Duplicolor makes this product. It's called Paint and Bumper Trim. My buddy Max told me about it. It's a really great product. It basically sets your trim to look as if it was like factory new plastic, but it is like a paint. So it comes with all the benefits of paint, with it being like UV resistant and whatnot. But it does kind of almost dimple. That's not the right word. But you know how plastic is like not perfectly smooth usually on trim. It has some texture to it. So it basically mimics that. But the only downside is the nozzles get clogged really easily, and then it will spray either splotchy or it'll come out like heavy gloss, and you don't want either of those because it'll look bad once it dries. So for this product, I usually stay a little bit further away than I would for like standard spray paint or plastic dip or something. But yeah, it's a great product. All right, I'm about to sand down the Bondo, so just gonna flatten it out. I've got my trusty Harbor Freight sanding thing with a pad. I think I've got 400 on there. It's probably not right, but it doesn't have to be perfect, so just gonna flatten it out and then scuff it and spray these bad boys. Well, I have to clean them too, but you get the idea. All right, after a couple passes with 400, a little bit of 600 Scotch Brite to knock it down, and then whatever the fuck this is, I don't know, it's higher grit, it's on a sponge. Good enough for government work. The body guy's gonna have a conniption that I'm going with this, but this is probably only gonna last me about 4 months before it breaks anyway, so I'm not too pressed. I just wanted to kind of hide a bit of the seam and smooth things over where the cut was made. So there you go. I'm gonna scuff the whole thing and get it ready for paint now. All right, here's how they came out. They're not perfect, but they will do. They had some damage just from being off a parts car. But honestly, you guys saw how bad the Bondo was. I don't think that's half bad for a part that barely anyone's gonna be looking at. I don't know. You guys might hate it, who knows? Well, that's it for today. I'm gonna be brief because it's 8 trillion degrees outside and I want to die. I got a part today, which is pretty funny. I got a shift knob. I'll put the eBay link in the description, but pretty funny little shift knob. Should be also a hint at a few things if you know what if you're thinking like I'm thinking. But yeah, so I'm gonna throw in the car real quick. 2-minute install. Oh, it died. Okay, the battery died. It's literally an oven in here. Fucking disgusting. How is leather this hot? How is that possible? Add that to the graveyard. Oh, that's very funny. I enjoy that a lot. How far does it thread? Goddamn. There you go. That honestly, actually, shockingly feels really good. Okay, today's a very exciting day. I have something here with me. The ECU came back, and just as like overall, I'll say that was way faster than I thought. He only had it for like, I don't know, had to have been just like a day or two, because it was out in California and it took like 3 or 4 days to ship. And I think it was only gone a full week. So he had to have just put it on, fixed it the day he got it and sent it out the day he got it. Either way, he did confirm my suspicion, which was that the ECU was not grounding the fuel pump, and it had a 0 fault code, meaning it, you know, had a problem somewhere, one of the capacitors probably. So he replaced all the capacitors, and it should be good now. So I'm going to go see if it does anything. I guess we'll see. All right, took a trip to Walmart, trying to warranty this battery and get some O-rings, so. Okay, the car's right here. I just put the battery back in it and put the ECU back in, plugged everything back in. So it's almost that time. It's almost time to see if it starts. I'm taking a 2-minute break in the truck to get some AC. And then we'll see if it moves. And if it moves, god damn it, I might take it to go get a fucking Frosty, because I deserve a reward for working in this heat. I don't even know what the real feel is, but there's no shade where I'm working, and I feel like my life force is about to run out. So, sorry I didn't film too much of what I did. Honestly, there wasn't much to film. I zip tied the lip on. It's honestly not as much of an out, like it doesn't like jut out at an angle on the corners as much as I thought it was going to. But once it's paint matched, I think it'll look pretty good. It needs a little bit of work to fit in the corners, because it doesn't want to sit right. You can see the lip right there isn't sitting right, but other than that, pretty good. And I plugged the ECU back in. I haven't really done anything super important myself yet, but hopefully it starts. Fingers crossed. I'm excited. I hope you guys are. I also forgot that I did this, but I loosened this, and I was wondering why I could smell gas, and it's because I lost that washer. So I'm gonna go get that really quick. But look at that, the fuel's getting there, so that's good. I don't know, I feel like I've done everything that I know is wrong with it, you know?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't start, I don't know. But I will say, the new thing is the key beeps now. And it didn't used to do that. Like, if I leave the key in accessory, it stays beeping. Even if I pull it into the other one. It used to like freak out. It would like start to beep, stop to beep, chime different, and then like beep crazy. Oh shit. We back, baby. I don't have to sell it. That's sick. Let's go. That's so huge.
What'd you do to make it start?
I replaced the ECU. Shout out, what's the name of this stuff? Get the dash. I put it on the dash. Monotech USA. Shout out. This is the one that got me right. I thought it was the main relay, and then I thought it was the fuel pump. It's pretty rare that the cars from this era have ECU problems. So, but because of the code that it had on the dash and the way that everything was acting weird, I kind of got the feeling like maybe it's the ECU. And he was great. I said this earlier in the video, but he got this back to me in like a week, and that was with me mailing it to him in California. And it was just USPS both ways, so he had to have done it in like a day, and he was able to diagnose it and tell me what exactly was wrong with it. So if you're looking for a Golden Era Honda ECU repair, I'll link him in the description. Make sure you go with him. I have nothing good things to say. But yeah, all right, cool. I'm gonna move this down and go get the front bumper. All right, welcome back. I got started without you a little bit. The car's behind me. It's in a bunch of pieces. I have my respirator because I'm about to start tearing out some of the interior to get the carpet out, and it's gross in there. But I started looking, and I was like, well, it should be really easy to get the rear wiper out. For those of you who aren't hip, hatchback wipers, it's a no-go. So I'm gonna be plugging that. I'm gonna run to Ace and grab a plug. It's usually just like a rubber plug you can throw in there with some silicone. And then, yeah, gonna start tearing out the interior. There's a lot to do. Luckily, I have one of the seats out, and most of the interior pieces are kind of thrown in the trunk anyway, so it's not too bad. And then once the seats are out, I'm gonna get them nice and deep cleaned too. A lot of you really wanted me to reuse the OEM seats, and while I really wanted to get Recaros, I just can't afford it right now. So you guys win, and I'll be doing a little bit of a restore on these seats, seeing how nice I can get them, and then they'll go back in the car. But for right now, I'm going to start taking apart this wiper. That was a lot more work than I thought, but we did it. I didn't even crack the glass. That's what my biggest fright was. But I'm gonna recap it for you because I was kind of learning as I went. It's a little bit different than the DC. So the whole plastic garnish you're gonna need to take off. My wiring is all weird, so yours might not look like that in the middle for the brake light, but you're gonna have one connector for the motor, 3 bolts that hold the bracket on. And then on the top of the wiper, there's a cap, this plastic cap you're going to pull off that sits on the end here, well, other side. And it hugs this, I think. So when you're removing it, I thought it was going to come off, and then I was prying and nothing was happening, so I thought maybe the bolt went from underneath. But it's really thin, so just get like something like a flathead or like a trim removal tool and pop it, and just get the very lip of it and it'll pop out. Be careful not to pry against your glass or you'll crack it. And then it's just a nut, a C-clip, this big like 23 millimeter bolt, which is like not very tight. You could probably get it off with either vice grips or channel locks if you don't have a socket that big. Everything comes out, and then you're left with this that goes through the window. It's like a rubber bushing, and then on the bottom of the bushing there's a metal washer that mine was like stuck together. So I just made 2 cuts so that I could squish it through. It was already pretty dry rotted, but honestly, if someone wanted to reuse this, they could probably repair it, and actually would probably make an easier install. So if you need a rear wiper assembly, leave a comment. I will mail all of this to you for free. The blade's obviously shot, but you can have the entire assembly. The only thing I'm missing is the C-clip, which went flying somewhere, and I'm not going to look for it. So leave a comment if you want the rear wiper. I'm going to go to the store and get a plug. All right, I went to Ace and I got something, and I figured you guys would probably want to know about this. So if you do a wiper delete, a lot of people are going to say either get, I think there might even be an OEM like grommet you can buy that'll just stick in there. Good luck finding one. And the alternative is finding a grommet that fits, and once again, good luck finding one. I've done this a few times. They sell these. They're called sinkhole covers. They come with a washer and a plastic nut. This one's metal. I usually just get the plastic ones because the thread's so long that you're gonna have to cut it short. I cut it about halfway so that it won't hit the bottom of your like kick panel on the back. So this one's metal, which means I'm gonna have to Dremel it, which kind of sucks. But it is nice because then I'll be able to scuff it on the top and paint it black. It'll probably be a little bit more durable than a rubber one or a plastic one. So just a little, I guess it's not really a hack, just a tip for something that I've done for quite a while and that seems to work. If you really want to get into it, you can put a little bit of silicone on the washer. I also got a rubber washer while I was in there because they don't usually have them, but they had them today. Where is it? Here it is. I got a little neoprene washer that I'm going to put in lieu of the foam one they give you with the kit, which should last a little longer too. So there you go. Going back to it. All right, good news. I definitely thought this was made of like aluminum, but it's just plastic. So cut it in half, and now I'm going to scuff it to spray the top black. Now, I didn't mention this before, but when you cut these, it's usually good practice to leave the nut on when you cut it, because if you fuck the threads up a little bit, when you spin it off, sometimes if it's just a little bit of a mess up, it'll just kind of like recut the groove. I did a pretty good job on this one, but it's just something to make your life a little bit easier, is keep the nut on when you do that. All right, I'm gonna spray it black. Let that sit for a minute, do another coat, I'm good to go. All right, here's my 3 pieces. I've got the top, the washer, and the bottom nut. And I've got shoe goo, which is for skate shoes, but it's essentially just medium grade silicone. So I'm gonna run a little bit of this around the hole and then tighten everything up. By no means is this going to be perfect, but the big idea here is just trying to make it as waterproof as I can with what I've got. So I didn't even have the patience to let this dry, so it's still tacky, which is why I'm being so careful. Now the nice thing about this silicone is that I'm gonna have, you can see it kind of like squished out and it doesn't look great. All of that can come off with a razor once it dries. So it kind of gives you the freedom to be a little haphazard with the way you put it together and not worry about having something permanently staining your glass. I'm gonna use a foam washer on the backside. Don't put any trust in this for any structural integrity. This is literally just so that the bolt doesn't like rattle loose from the vibrations of the car. Sometimes when you have something like this where it's a perfectly flat surface getting mated to a not perfectly flat surface, it can be helpful to, I'm gonna let it sit for like 2 minutes and just let the silicone start to tack up and then crank it down. That'll just keep some of the silicone from just squeegeing out through the bottom. It'll let it kind of become set and act more like a cushion rather than just getting obliterated off rip. And then yeah, then I'll come back and clean up with a razor all the extra at some other day, but looks pretty good. Quick little easy hack for a rear wiper delete. Is it that big of a deal? No, not really. But it is something that, I don't know, man. It's just a pet peeve of mine. I hate seeing a rear wiper on a car. A hatchback specifically. Just can't do it. So if you're like me and you don't like looking at a rear wiper, there's an easy, I don't even know how much that was. I think it was like $6 at Ace. Which if you are going to a hardware store, plug this. I'm not sponsored, but if you're going to go to a hardware store, go to Ace. Don't go to Lowe's, don't go to Home Depot. Ace is family owned usually, they're franchises, so. And also, they usually have a better selection, quite honestly, than the big hardware stores, so. All right, that's it for this episode. See you. All right, today I'm doing something I've been putting off, and that's the passenger side window rail regulator and motor. I had to put up a tent because it's so fucking hot, and I'm hoping that keeps the camera from overheating.